Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt, fix several years of financial misbehaviour, and bring a bit of smoothness back into my budgeting and financial life since I've had a really tumultuous 2 to 3 months. Today is a little bit of an interesting video, and it's very much been inspired by my debt update video that I did this week, where I disclosed that I had sought advice from debt agencies and kind of encountered a few interesting things that came up on their budgeting form. Now, normally, when you see me work on a budget, I work on a spread like this. This is a spread that I've designed myself. The entire budget is designed, printed, and assembled by me. Not available for resale because I don't have the means to do that yet. But I keep it very yeah. Income, source, what I'm expecting, what actually comes in, space for fixed expenses but nothing clearly defined. And then in this version I've got like savings, space for savings, flexible expenses, and then a small amount of debt payments, and I do that on a weekly basis. All of my budgeting planners that I've designed and used for myself have a variation of this, but the key thing is that I keep it very, very, very flexible and non-prescriptive, because in the past I have always struggled with buying like those budgeting, finance, income, expenditure tracking forms, etc., that have a very specific layout in each category, because what I have found is that I might label things another way, or I might assign something to a different category. And I know it's really silly, but like the easiest excuse to not do a budget, and I would have found it back in the day. And so when I was having to go through on the phone and do go through this budget with someone, I was like, what form are you filling in? Some of these categories are ridiculous. And I think I said, like, quibbling over some things that are down as an essential, whereas I would say that they're definitely not, and they're not something I count for in a budget. And why are some things given priority and some things aren't? So I thought I would find that form from that company, and this is from a debt agency in the UK. It's a charity, so they're not getting paid anything for looking after this information and dealing with my account, etc. And actually, I wanted to see this form, and I wanted to see what it looked like, and I wanted to see if I were to input something into every relevant category that I'm not already budgeting for at the minute, what my monthly income and expenditure should look like. So this is one of those theoretical exercises, but because I am not a fan of pre-described categories, this is going to be a little bit of like also me probably getting a bit annoyed, but that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. So if I shake you, if I take you through what we have, I'm going to go and backfill in the overview afterwards, but it says total of all monthly income, total of all monthly outgoings, amount left over after essential monthly outgoings paid, amount left over for your creditors, total amounts to priority debts, total amounts to non-priority debts. Okay. Outgoings, living costs. We're going to go through the first section. So this is what they have got as fixed costs as it relates to home and contents. Rent, mortgage, council tax, TV licence, secured loans, help to buy loan, board, ground rent and service charge, house appliance hire purchase, household appliance rental, mortgage endowment. Okay, so we're going to do payment amount. And I rent. I don't pay mortgage. My council tax is 126. I don't pay for TV license, so I'm not going to put that in there because I don't pay for a TV license. Oh no, that's not the point of this. So I will put it in, even though I don't use it and have no intention. But it's 1457. I don't have secured loans against my property. I don't have a help to buy loan. I don't pay board. I don't have ground rent and service charges. None of my appliances are on hire purchase. I'm not renting any appliances. And I don't have a mortgage endowment. I need a slightly better pen for this. That's better, I think. Okay, so none of those I'm paying for. Monthly. Full. Utilities. I have dual fuel, water supply, water waste, other fuel. I don't do water waste. My water, if I wasn't on a reduced plan, would be 41, and my dual fuel is, without the arrears, I would say 121 a month. Puts my account in credit over the summer when I'm using less, and then it can eat off the balance there in the winter. I don't know the difference between my gas and electricity. Okay, health and care costs. Prescriptions and medicine. Well, I do the prescription certificate, which is, what's that gone up to? I think 33.57. So divided by 3 months is 11.19 a month. Right, childcare I don't have anything to do with. I don't pay for adult care and I don't pay for child maintenance. So dentistry and opticians. Oh, for goodness sake. Right. I do need to see the dentist. Getting registered, like, this is assuming I'm registered for the dentist. I think I would need to set aside about £50 a month to put towards that because of what I would need doing. And then I think for my opticians as well. Now it's over 2 years and the last time I replaced my glasses. But a checkup is, let's go £10 a month for opticians. Right, transport and travel is, car insurance is, I think it's going to settle out at 75. Road tax is 16.66. See, my brake car down cover is in with my insurance though, so are they wanting that slightly separate? I don't have a logbook loan. I don't even think I spent more than £10 a month on public transport. So it's like the blue moon, so £5. I'm not leasing a vehicle. I haven't got a vehicle on hire purchase. MOT and ongoing vehicle maintenance. Well, I've got an older car. I think realistically, and this is why I find stuff like this really, really annoying. I find sheets like this really frustrating. I've just realised you can't see this bottom one here. I find sheets like this really annoying, guys. I have a 21-year-old car. It rattles, it makes noise, things occasionally fall off and get back on. Sometimes seals need to be resealed again, but we're still going and we're still good and we're up to 125,000 miles. So I think realistically, because of the age of my car, for generalised maintenance and for its MOT, I would probably be needing to put about 150 a month aside. So that's fantastic. And then I think, therefore, because of that, I think my breakdown cover would need to be higher. And I think the highest category is 165 per year. I think with the AA, don't quote me, which means it's, let's just make it 15 a month. Okay. Fuel, parking and toll road charges. Well, okay. Well, for me to go to work, it's 150 a month in fuel. With like the odd extra trip to a town. So for me to go to work and go to the town to do a food shop or whatever once a week, it's about 150. Anything more than that, I need to account for separately and increase the budget accordingly. So I don't have to pay for any toll charges. Occasionally have to pay for parking. So let's just say 200. And then some months it's higher and some months it's lower. I don't like sheets like these. Okay. Right. Pensions and insurance. Right. Buildings and contents insurance, I pay, we're just going to round that up, fees, it's £7, but it's £6.71. Life insurance, I don't pay for. Mortgage protection insurance, I don't pay for. Health insurance, I don't pay for. Pension payment, I don't pay for. It comes out of my wages. I'm not opting out of that. Professional costs. Professional courses, professional fees, and union fees. This is where I struggle with stuff like this. School costs, school uniform, after school clubs and school trips. And then we have other essential costs, criminal fine, loan from a family member and friend, legal fees. Okay. Right. Professional courses, professional fees, and union fees. I struggle with having this as a category. I think it's £13 a month from September for my union fees, so we're going to put you down. School uniform, well, I do technically have a dress code which does not match my day-to-day dress code, so what am I saying with the cost of things? What, £50 a month? I don't know. After school clubs and school trips, well, see, Bowie, stop trying to sit in the bin. This is a high stress moment for me. Why aren't you down as an essential cost? Okay, £50 a month for, I don't know. This is a high stress, guys. After school clubs and school trips. I don't know, £10 a month? Yeah, exactly. Shake that tail, Bowie. Hey. Good boy. Professional course. Oh, sod that. I'm not putting that down. Right. Okay. What have we got under food and school? Right. Flexible costs. Well, okay. Groceries, meals at work, alcohol. Why is that even a category? Laundry and dry cleaning. Again. Household repairs and maintenance, nappies and baby items, school meals, smoking products. Vet bills and pet insurance. Okay, groceries. Well, if I were to eat how I am meant to be eating, just on groceries, I think we're sitting at 200. Meals at work, I don't do. Alcohol, I don't drink at all. Laundry and dry cleaning, I think I spend about £10 a month on laundry. Tabs, I don't do any dry cleaning. Household repairs and maintenance. Is that cleaning items? Right, cleaning items, £10 a month. Nappies and baby items, absolutely not. School meals, no. Smoking products, no. Vet bills and pet insurance, here we go. Right, let's just say Bowie needs £100 a month spent on him on a checkup. I don't cover pet insurance, I pay for outright, and his medication, let's just put it back to what it was when it's at its worst. So we're going to say 200 on cat per month. Home phone, internet, and TV package. Well, why were you giving me jip over having a subscription then? I don't have a home phone either. Right, my internet is 35. My TV package is 13, so 48. My mobile phone is 16. Hobbies, leisure and sport. Why are newspapers, magazines, stationery and postage still a category? Religious contribution, okay, neither here nor there, but charitable donation. Should you be contributing to charity while you are... Okay, no. What we got? Pocket money. No. Was that spending money for me? In which case, can I have £100 a week? No. I'm just getting sarcastic now. Hobbies, leisure or sport? Okay, gifts is important. So I'm going to package Christmas up in this. And I am going to say... So Christmas, birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus that person plus that person plus that person plus that person. 210 on birthdays. These are just very like rough numbers at the minute. 40 on Mother's Day, 40 on Father's Day. Miscellaneous cards for anniversaries, etc. throughout the year, 10. Christmas, 10 for that. That one. 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. 1075 divided by 12 takes us to, we're just going to make that 90 a month to cover all gifts throughout the year. I can't get over the fact that there is a section for newspapers, magazines, stationery and postage. This is where it feels very out of touch. This is where it feels really, really out of touch. Hobbies, leisure or sport. Well, where's the haircut? Is that leisure? I don't have hobbies. Well, I do have hobbies, but I pay for them out of my spending money. And there's a pocket money section down. Oh, so £50 a week. We'll call it $250, and that accounts for a 5-week month. Hobbies, leisure, and sport. 50 a month? I don't know. This is theoretical. This is not what I'm spending, guys. This is me filling out this form in as many categories as I could slot into my life that are applicable to my life. So I don't have car finance, for example, and I probably never will. Nor do I have to pay board, nor do I have like homeowners insurance. I have contents insurance, etc. Clothing and footwear, toiletries and hairdressing. Okay, well look, if we're being really honest about hairdressers and I need to get my hair cut every 12 weeks, and because I have long thick hair, I'm probably going to need to set aside about £25 a month. Toiletries are straight in at 15 because hello sensitive skin. Therefore things cost more. Clothing and footwear, 25. More of a replacing if things break. Okay, right. Let's get a red pen. I love a red pen. Let's get a pink pen. Okay. Obviously, everyone does different budgets. Obviously, everyone has different priorities, and obviously, people are battling different things. What I'm about to say next is not a should not be taken as a comment on anyone's lifestyle choices. It is something that I find baffling, and this is linked to my own personal beliefs. So I really, 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 really struggle with a charitable donation, newspapers, magazines, stationery, and postage. I feel like a charitable donation is something that you can do with your money when you have paid all others. There are charities that I would really love to support, but I feel like I can't sit here and say I have debt, I'm struggling to keep to a budget, and I'm sending £15 a month to a charity that's paying its CEO $400,000 a year, for example. That I really, really, really struggle with. Newspapers, magazines, stationery and postage I feel is very out of touch, and I feel that this is reflective of a budget sheet like this that is not reflective of today's times. I feel like when you have debt, and if you are approaching for debt support and debt advice, I personally find it really difficult to factor in things like toiletries and hairdressing in particular. Like, I would love to be able to spend money on my hair, but I do, for me, very, very much feel like it is something which can be construed, particularly in my case, long and thick, it just grows. It's not something that needs a lot of upkeep, particularly if, because of those things, you know, I'm looking at a minimum of £50 for a haircut, no matter where I get it from. And that is £50 that could do something else somewhere else. So I do struggle with that. I think that Clothing and footwear, you need to be able to replace things that break, replace things that grow out of. I think it's especially hard as well if you are on a weight loss journey, or you do experience a weight gain or a change to your body shape where you cannot make what you have in your wardrobe work. I would, of course, then say try and sell what you have to get rid of those things and build up those pots and those funds, which is what I've done in the past. But I can see why those are in there, and toiletries obviously make sense. And I also think as well, like, despite me saying all of those things about charitable donation and hairdressing and stuff, some of us do suffer with really, really poor skin through no fault of our own. There's nothing we've kind of imbibed or done in our younger years that could have contributed to that. And as a result of that, we're sometimes forced into a more limited range of products that cost more money. Bowie, thank you. That cost more money, and therefore I have also had those arguments with people when I've done forms like this in the past and said, no, I'm sorry, this is what it costs. If you can find it cheaper for me and it's not a knockoff and it works, by all means I'll go there, but you can't be telling me to put money into this category and then telling me what I'm putting in is too much. Pocket money, be it for yourself or kids, I think like you do need to have money to spend. I think that it's some people will be natural savers and find the idea of spending money very, very uncomfortable. But I think that you should have a pot separate to all of your categories and all of your bills that allows you to do with what you want. And if you want to save that and work loads of savings challenges and put it aside for a rainy day on top of any other sinking funds, I think you should be able to. I think if you want to go and spend it all in the Warner Brothers Studios tour Harry Potter gift shop, like, you know, I'm visiting tomorrow, then you should be able to. If you want to buy a load of Pokemon trading cards, you should be able to. It's why you don't really see me going ahead and saying I spent my personal money on this, because it's my money to spend on what I want, and I think the budgeters in the budgeting community that do go line by line and say I spent X here and X there and X here and X there, and here's the shop and here's how much I spent. I think that that's a separate level of like bravery, but also criticism that you're opening yourself up for. As long as you kind of control your category, in my view, what happens within that category is down to no one else apart from you. So I do struggle with those. Hobbies, leisure and sport I also struggle with. Really, 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 really struggle with. And again, it's I have loads of hobbies. Case in point, selling tons and tons of fabric. I do have loads of hobbies and I can get the drive to have it and engage in it, but I'm also someone where at the minute, if I identify the fact that I have an income issue, I need to generate extra income, I can't justify spending the time and the money on a hobby, leisure, or sport activity when I instead need to be earning money through that time instead. However, if we look at the scenario of having kids within a household and wanting to make sure that upkeep to extracurricular activities or something that is genuinely good for your mental well-being and isn't going to tempt you into spending more money to keep up to date with the thing within that club, hobby, or activity, it's a real fine grey line, and that's why I'm not overly a fan of it being in an essential category. Smoking products. Going to be slightly controversial here. I personally, I have friends who smoke, and vape. I have family members who I'm incredibly close to who smoke and vape. I will never support someone in their pursuit of that addiction. I can't stop people. Can't stop people in my family, and I was the child that cut up the pack of cigarettes that had been recently purchased and threw them in the bin. It's something I've always been vehemently opposed to from a very, 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 very early age, and I don't think any less of people who do partake in smoking, drinking, or gambling. What I don't like to see in a financial setting is the permission being given for that to take place financially, particularly if we go back to the days when people were spending, you know, £600, three figures on cigarettes or alcohol, etc. I think for me, where I'm coming into a little bit of personal conflict here is These categories are fixed, and I have real issues, I will be honest, with gambling, smoking, and alcohol and costs towards them being given financial permission to appear in a budget over and beyond, or given the same weight as extracurricular activities for kids, for example. It's something that, being open, I really have a bugbear about. And like I said, I have got really, really good friends and family members who do smoke, and I don't think any less of them as people. I just have issues with potentially people being given permission to spend a significant amount of their monthly income on substances that cause harm, when having debt also causes financial harm. And without going into too much detail, growing up in a household where there was debt that caused a lot of harm and financial stress, and me being very, very aware as a child that a lot of that money was being spent and smoked or drank, has caused a bit of a layover. I'm aware of that, but I also can't avoid the fact that it really, really, really annoys me and actually angers me to see it in a budget category. That's not me getting angry at people who smoke and consume these things. I'm angry at seeing this down as a permitted fixed cost. I don't agree with it personally. For me, that needs to come out of the pocket money or the spending money that you give that person. And if that individual wants to spend their money on that, by all means go ahead, but it shouldn't be taken from other things. That's just my take on it. Come for me in the comments. I don't care. I will die on this hill. So again, I have issues with alcohol. School meals, fine. Nappies and baby items, fine. But again, I would have a massive issue if more money was spent on smoking or alcohol than on school meals and baby products. Sorry, that's just where I stand. That's my moral compass and my moral code. Meals at work, I think it depends if they're heavily subsidised, for example, and I mean, I could go and get school dinners from the school canteen if I want to. It's not the best food, so I probably wouldn't, but that option's there, and I've certainly redeemed that. I always keep about £10 on my school pay account in case I want it, so it just doesn't really apply. And I think as well, groceries, I'm like that. That's a category that's constantly increasing in price for people, and again, it's that like I didn't sign up for higher grocery prices. I think as regards to like the other essential costs, they're fairly on point. Legal fees, loan from family and friend, criminal fine, yep, fine, okay. School uniform, after school clubs and school trips. I don't want anyone to miss out on that. And I think as well that like where I like the fact that there is this separation and there's distinction between your personal clothing and footwear and potentially something that you may have to wear for work, because I know I personally have had so many times where I've signed up for a job or got a job somewhere and there's not a uniform but there's a dress code, and you don't find that out until relatively close to starting work, and then you realise I'm like on my last penny anyway. I need to prioritise my income to get to work, and now nothing in my wardrobe is suitable and appropriate. And I know I've certainly been on the receiving end of mum bundling me down to to F&F in Tesco's to get me a starter work wardrobe. So I like the fact that that is separate, and I like the fact that there is a distinction between be it uniform for kids and clothes for kids, or uniform for you for work, because there is a dress code that you have to apply for. I like the fact that there's a distinction. I think that's a massive plus, which is probably why I'm really upset to see all of this going on down here. I have a massive, 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 massive issue with professional courses and professional fees. Really, really massive issue with professional courses and professional fees. And here, this is why. Professional courses and professional fees, as it relates to your employment, I believe should be covered by your employer. If it is coming at a cost to you, the part that is external to your time, then and it's something you've been encouraged to do by work, I think that that is something that your employer needs to cover. So your related costs, such as travel to and from things, needs to be expensed out via your employer. It's something that I feel really strongly about. Fees, courses, university fees, like additional stuff like that, I would question. I would question choosing to do those and start those while you're on a debt journey. And I know that's hilarious saying that, as I did my teacher training. However, that was fully funded and I earned income through that. I was bursaried and I took on a student loan. Those fees were covered and I financially benefited as a result of that student loan, and it allowed me to do certain things within my budget. I did not incur overall that many costs, and indeed when I did have to incur fees-based things for university and supplies, I was receiving a student loan that covered that anyway. So I have a real problem with something like that being in there. I feel like that should come after a discussion with a debt agency or an advisor, and it's a case of, yep, do this, it's a 6-month course, it's an accreditation in this, and you're immediately going to see an improved return on your income, you're immediately going to see a jump up. So yes, it's a little bit of short-term gain, but that to me needs to be like a non-essential cost personally. I told you I was going to get spicy today, guys. The rest of it, I think there is all legal. This is income, what money I receive, so I'm not interested in that part of this. See, now we get into who, what, whys, wherefores. Okay. I think a secured loan needs to go into debt because it's a loan. And same again, I think a Help to Buy loan needs to go into your debt, but I don't know enough about it. It's just my opinion. I think that household applier hire purchase and household applier rental needs to go into debt. You have borrowed that product or that money from someone and it is being paid back. Water waste is fine, other fuel is fine, prescriptions and medicine, dentistry, opticians, childcare, child maintenance, adult care. My main quibble with this is that they tell you to put money down in a category and insist that you put money down into a category, knowing full well that you're not spending it because you don't have the money to spend. See, a logbook loan I feel like is a loan that needs to go into debt. Hire purchase, we could like that's a bone of contention within the budgeting community. I'm not touching that one. I personally believe that you should try and buy your car outright if you can, even if it means you're buying bangers. That's just my take on it. There we go. Mainly because I never grew up in a household with hire purchase cars. The cars were always owned outright, even if you're buying a car that was 15 years old. So it's nothing I know anything about, but there we go. Okay, so what are they saying that I should be slotting into a budget category a month in total financial terms before I start putting money towards my debt? So we've got 950, we've got 126, we've got 1457. They're really hung up on car insurance, on TV license, aren't they? 121, we're up to 41. We've got £11.19. We've got 50, we've got 10, we've got 75. The reason why my car insurance is high is because I'm within the 5-year period where I lost my no claims bonus, had someone go into the back of me, and so I've lost my no claims bonus for 5 years because of the coverage that I had at the time, and obviously I've had an incident or an accident, which is why my car insurance is currently so much. So that's that basically. 1,550. 5 buildings and contents insurance 7, union fees are 13. If I were not a teacher, I would not be putting union fees down. They are, and being part of a union, I would say, is a core essential part within the UK of being a teacher, and it's worth every penny I pay for it. Chloe, you're fascinating with my bin is really, really starting to get on my left nerve. And now that's fallen over. You are causing chaos and damnation today. Maybe I've chosen chaos and damnation as well. Right, 13, 50, 10. Then we get to 200. Then we get to 10. Then we get to another 10. Then we get to another 200. Then we get to 48, 16, 50, 90, 250, 25, 15, 25. So this is why I hate these forms. Okay. According to this basis, if I were to set a realistic amount that is reflective of the fact that I am a sole earner in my household, I am currently minus £817.42. That's before I've started tackling debt and putting money into savings. I do not like these forms. It is saying I should be generating £2,804.42 a month, which would need to give me, I think, an average yearly salary of about £50,000 to £55,000, which is, and that's right. I'm very roughly doing the maths there, guys. Don't quote me on that one. For perspective, I'm earning £31,650 a year, and I have pensions and national insurance and student loan payments taken off those. And my student loan payments are less than £40 a month, so they're not even worth discussing at this stage. I don't like these forms. What I feel should be done is, rather than saying to people, we're going to go through a budget and you go through a form like this, and people stumble over it and go, well, I'm not paying for this, or am I paying too much, or what should I put down for this? I personally feel like you should just say to people, this is not financial advice, by the way, this is not me recommending. I'd say, cool, what are you spending your money on? Like, have you got a budget in front of you? Have you written it down? Cool, let's go through that. Let's have a look at what you're spending. And then say to people, and then prompt people when they inevitably forget, what do you do when it comes to school uniform? Oh, I put it on a credit card. Cool, okay. Because that's kind of what happens. What do you do about Christmas? I put it on a credit card, or I take out a loan. Okay. Let's make a note of that. Because realistically, that is what's happening for most people up and down the country. I saw a news article today from the BBC. If I can find it, I'll try and link it down below. And it says that 1 in 10 people have no savings at all, nothing in the bank. I'm not actively look at saving anything at all. It's something like 3 in 10 people have less than £1,000 in the bank for saving. Half of people, I'll try and find the article because I'm fluffing the stats a little bit, but it basically painted a pretty damning but realistic picture of what people are doing with their budgets. And I feel like, rather than saying to people, how much are you putting aside towards gifts, and then making them feel bad because I can't afford to, I feel like it would just be better to say, well, how are you paying for gifts? How are you paying for school uniform? How are you paying for the dentist, if you pay for the dentist? And saying to people, let's go through it. Have you got a budget written down? What are those numbers? What have you got down as a category? And if someone says, well, Tesco's is this, I'd probe and go, have you got a pet? Are you paying for pet food there? How much is your pet food? How much do you think you spend on pet food? Or if the Tesco shop is 1,000 and someone writes down 1,000, that's really, really high, probe it and go, is there kids' food or like nappies and stuff in there? Yep, cool, fantastic. Rather than sitting there and going through something like this, and I know it's a really silly thing for me to get up about, but stuff like this infuriates me, because someone's sitting on the phone and they're having to mentally keep track with you and go, well, I don't rent, I pay mortgage, or I pay board to this person. I just feel like there is a much more user-friendly way that this can be approached, and it is just my personal take on it. I feel like tackling things like alcohol and smoking and things like that needs to come separately. To me, professional courses and professional fees should not be given the same amount of weight as contents insurance and rent, which is what this does. And alcohol and smoking should not be given the same amount of weight as a charitable donation or like gifts. Like, it's not. And then, someone turns around and says, well, your budget is minus this. And you're like, well, no shit, Sherlock, I knew my budget was minus that, but you're now telling me my budget is more minus than it was minusing. Anyways. That's why I have issues, and it's why when I'm sitting there going like, "Oh, I don't have £24.17 left in my budget to put towards debt." Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Sometimes I might have to spend a bit more on my spending money. Sometimes I might choose to, like I did this year, go ahead and buy all of the birthday gifts for the year in one go. And then nothing for the following X amount of months, because in the following month since I've done that, I've had Mum's birthday, Dad's birthday, Mother's Day, Easter, and Father's Day is coming up, and that's covered as well. So, and those have just not appeared in my budget. I sorted them in January. I feel like sinking funds aren't allowed in here. Do you turn around and say that you're spending the money on them, or do you say that you're putting the money into sinking funds and savings? It's the setting the budget side of a working with a debt charity is what I find really difficult. And again, none of this is designed to take away from the amazing work that they do, because they have helped so many people. But I do feel like in the current climate that a different approach might be needed when it comes to breaking down a budget. So on that note, I'm gonna leave it here. It was just a little exercise, and I also kind of wanted to like see if I could get enough annoyed energy to see me through the rest of the evening. Tomorrow I am off to Warner Brothers Studios. I cannot guarantee that I'm going to get anything filmed tomorrow. If I've got enough in the kind of proverbial energy tank this evening, I will get another budget filmed and get another video filmed and released for you to just come out normally tomorrow. If that's not the case, then you'll realise that, because there may not be a video tomorrow, in which case we'll be back on Sunday. It just depends how much I get done this evening. I've got to try and get some listing sorted as well. But I do look forward to filling you all in on how much it's gone, how much I spent, and maybe doing a little bit of a show and tell if I do go in the gift shop, and I'm going to be very, very, very good. I will now love you and leave you. Let me know your thoughts down below. I know that I have thoughts and opinions that are different to other people's, and I do respect that. What I would say that if we are going to engage in a respectful discourse within the comments about what should and shouldn't be in budgets, then can we make sure we are being nice and kind and polite to each other, and just respect the fact that we all have different views. I know that can be difficult for us sometimes in this big wide world, but we are all of you, most of us adults, and we are therefore capable of being nice to each other. On that note, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend and budgeting week wherever you are in the world. Bye bye for now.